Hello and welcome to the Audiobook Club. It is that time again. It is time for another monthly audiobook recommendation. Now, if you do not know what I'm talking about, myself and Pro Audio Voices bring to you every month, at the start of every month, if we're on time, a brand new audiobook recommendation, inviting you throughout the month to listen along with us, which concludes at the end of every month with a live stream. Hopefully this time we're hoping for like a Zoom type thing where we can get together as a community and discuss that audiobook and everything else audiobooks and just basically have a great time. If you're wanting any more information about how to be a part of that live stream, how to get on it, how to come on and have a chat with me and some of the other guys on there, then please do reach out. It is a really friendly space and just there for, lovers of audiobooks and literature enthusiasts to come together and just, as I said before, have a really, really great time. So I was actually going to call this video the audiobook that saved my relationship, but that kind of came across as disrespectful to my partner and is actually not really true. It didn't, things in real life, as we know, opposed to YouTube titles, things really aren't that black and white most of the time. But I felt justified in saying that it changed my relationship because it changed the way that my partner and I perceived a relationship and what romanticism is. God, I can't even say it. Changed how we interact and experience romanticism. So without holding you in suspense for much longer, the audiobook recommendation for this month is The Course of Love by Alain de Botton. There's a huge chance I have mispronounced his name, but what can you do? You can try your best. I have the physical copy here like I like to do whenever I can. But of course we are talking about the audiobook recommendation specifically in this video. So The Course of Love is a kind of kooky hybrid between a fiction and non-fiction. It is a novel at its root. The premise stems following a couple from first getting together throughout their life. The idea being that most romantic novels and movies and everything that we know always ends with the couple getting together. Which isn't really helpful if you're looking for, looking to culture to guide us through our life, because hopefully we plan to have a nice long life after we get together with said person. So the fact that the textbook ends at the start, as it were, is kind of unhelpful. So Alain has come to save us, writing the textbook novel about the actual full relationship from first getting together through right to the very end, through all of the ups and downs that I'm sure you can imagine comes from a modern relationship in the 21st century. Now, the reason why I said it was a hybrid is because it is. It's basically a novel at its heart, but then there's this extended footnotes throughout the book, almost on every page, which is straight from Alain. It is straight non-fiction, philosophical, kind of the school of life vibe that you might expect from Alain, and sort of decoding what is going on in the scene in a nice way. It doesn't quite bring you out of it, but it decodes it and really just sort of explains what is happening, how they might have been able to handle a certain situation better, and basically teaching us what to do when we get to that situation in ourselves. Super relatable and just a really honest rendition of what love actually is. I first was introduced to this premise of kind of, I don't want to call it anti-romanticism, but it for the purpose of this video, it might as well be. It's not that extreme. But basically, I was introduced through a lecture of Alain's as I was doing a YouTube binge of all of his work. Basically, and I'm not going to be able to alliterate this as well as he does, obviously. But a general rundown is that we have been kind of whitewashed with romantic literature, films, ideologies for the past few hundred years. And this has created a little bit of a warped view on what a relationship is. Now, the idea is that it's all very lovely. You have a very romantic couple, everything's perfect. But then as life goes on, our humanistic side, our humanistic tendencies kind of come out. And of course, as we all know from being human, we are quite inconsistent, to say the least. And this can somehow affect, sometimes and quite often affect our relationship. And this audiobook really is that aid to kind of almost nurture the ego and nurture kind of worries. Sometimes, might just be me, but sometimes, you can get a little bit sort of overwhelmed with how you think you're supposed to act as a partner, and then it doesn't really align with what you really feel, not in like horrible senses, but just little things. We're all a little bit crazier than we let on. We're all a little bit more selfish, I think, than we let on. I'm generalizing here, so, kind of go with me. But this book kind of says, no, you're human. You will have lapses in, your consistency. You won't make sense. You'll feel jealous when you're not supposed to. The other person is jealous when they're not supposed to be, and you'll feel like a child, and you'll act out, and all these sort of stuff. And it just creates, consuming this content just creates this sort of warm cover where you think, oh, actually, everyone's kind of going through this thing. Even though I'm not being totally rational right now, I'm human, so that's kind of relatable. We can all relate to being unrelatable. Does that make any sense? Listen to the audiobook is basically what I'm saying. Some really nice kind of tips and tricks, and one of them that I'll just share with you because it's the easiest one to remember really, is it talks about treating your partner a little bit more like a child, right? It sounds weird, but bear with me. And the idea is you have a small child and you're making them dinner, and you put a plate of food in front of them and they eat it. It's like a toddler. And they eat it and then they spit it out and throw their plate on the floor. Now, the kind of modern normal reaction to that is to ponder what has gone wrong, right? So you might think, oh, is there something wrong with the baby's teeth? Does he not like the food? Is he a bit tired? Is there something else going on there? You are really kind of helpful in assisting the reasons behind, the reasoning behind the actions. Now, say your partner is that, you come on from work or something and you say something and then they react a little bit snidely or a little bit sarcastically. You immediately react out of, oh, why are you targeting me? I've had a bad day. I've had a hard day at work. Things are going wrong. I'm tired. And you have just, chosen to be very mean to me. And that isn't very kind. And when really we should think the exact same. Just because someone's an adult, we should think the exact same as we would a child. Or maybe they're tired, maybe they haven't had a good day, maybe they're not reacting in the best way because of something. And basically it's through this changing your perspective of, oh, you're a human too, or this, that kind of thing, is very helpful and isn't as patronizing as I'm making it sound, essentially. So yeah, it's kind of weird. I can talk about this sort of thing for ages, and then as soon as I put a camera on myself, I just completely forget everything and make everything sound so, pointless. But yeah, so I wanted to make this recommendation for April because I think it's such a powerful and important book, and I would love for you to, if you haven't obviously read or listened to it before, I'd love for you to join us, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If it doesn't sound like your type of thing, or you read it and don't like it, that's cool. I'd love to hear why. Totally open to it. I love kind of that friendly debate that comes with having the difference of opinion, especially when it comes to literature and stuff. That is the fun of it. We're not all the same when it comes to opinions and stuff, which is kind of what a community is about. It's about growing and learning and convincing each other and not convincing each other and that sort of thing. So yeah, so apologies if that was like a little bit rambly. I tried to do like a bit more of an explanation thing. I'm kind of quite looking forward to delving into it a little bit more when I can talk about the actual, innards of the book, as it were, on the live stream at the end of the month. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this. If you want to know, if you have any problems with where to find this book, or where to find the audiobook, or want a little bit more information about that live stream or how you can maybe join us in our community, then please do feel free to reach out either in a comment or you can DM me on Instagram. All the information's in the description. So yeah, once again, The Course of Love by Alain de Botton, or Alain de Botton. I tried to Google it, but like people say the complete different things, and he's too polite to point anyone out. That's wrong. Anyway, yeah, so thank you so much for watching this episode of the Audiobook Club. Please stick around on this channel if you would like to. And yeah, and I'll see you in the next one.